So why did Florida, the nation's biggest swing state, go Republican, while Democrats flipped gubernatorial races all across the nation and ran up the score in the House, including some Republican strongholds across the nation? Well, you could say, of course, an FBI investigation dogged Andrew Gillum and the goofy ballot design in Broward County cost Bill Nelson. Those were certainly factors here. But the hard truth for Democrats is that their party leaders failed them, not Gillum or Nelson. Because in Florida, Republicans are simply better and smarter when it comes to running campaigns and connecting with voters on local issues. And that's the big reason why they lose year after year after year after year. They think Democrats, particularly in South Florida, are all revved up, and maybe they are, but in off-year elections, they consistently lag the state in turnout, then leave their candidate at the altar. And then the next candidate comes along thinking that he or she can break that cycle. Could Charlie Crist have beaten Rick Scott in 2014?
I hope that he could have.
Okay,
I mean, he came within 1 point.
What would you have done that he did not do? Andrew Gillum, for example, figured Charlie Crist got blown out in the Panhandle because he did not spend enough time there.
My approach is going to be to go everywhere and to talk to everybody.
Is there anything that you can learn from Crist's loss in 2014? And what is it?
I think you've got to go to the northern Panhandle of this state where I'm mayor. It takes the Democratic nominee for governor going there, meeting with people.
And that's exactly what Gillum did. And you know what happened? He drew big crowds along the western Panhandle. And then, as data from MCI Maps shows, he still got hammered, losing more than 80% of the vote along the Big Bend. Charlie Crist all but ignored this area. Gillum gave it all he had, and yet he still wound up doing worse than Charlie Crist.
That makes no sense whatsoever.
Well, it makes perfect sense if you consider that there is little or nothing Gillum could have done, because politics in Florida, especially in midterms, is not top down, it's bottom up. In other words, local candidates do not ride the coattails of their statewide nominees. It is the other way around. Local candidates drive turnout, especially in smaller counties, and the statewide nominees ride their coattails. For the last 20 years, Democrats have struggled to build a farm team. They have abandoned local races across much of the state, and in midterms, it is killing them at the top of the ticket.
And so that's how we messed up. We're not supporting candidates and campaigns in every place in the state that we need to be.
Yeah, Madison Page is a Democratic strategist who runs Bold Blue campaigns. She focuses on finding and helping Democrats in local races.
And we did an analysis of all 67 counties in the state, and we isolated about 32 counties that we felt would be a great place to go in, find and field candidates, train them, train their staff.
Well, she said she presented her findings and her proposals to the state Democratic Party last year, and the party bosses back then ignored it.
We only played in areas where, well, we typically play. The Florida Democratic Party, in my opinion, dropped the ball.
Well, Bold Blue then scaled back its efforts to Hillsborough and Duval counties, where local Democratic parties were more focused on local issues, and where Democrat Adam Hattersley won a state House seat Republicans had held for a decade. And Democrats also scored big wins in the county commission.
And that really energized people to get involved in the process, whether it was transportation or schools or, the buses, how they run. These issues are issues that everyday people care about.
And then uptick at Hillsborough, which favored Crist by 3 points in 2014, broke 7 points for Andrew Gillum. Meanwhile, Duval County, which Scott won by double digits in 2014, broke slightly for Bill Nelson instead. While Democrats got smoked where they did not have a strong slate of local candidates focused on local issues.
The Democratic Party has really just never focused on how do we build from the bottom up.
And this is what you get. Check out MCI Maps yet again. Look at how Andrew Gillum performed compared to President Obama in 2012. He did better in urban areas where the local parties are strong, but he lost a lot of ground in white working class areas, and he got blown out in rural areas. These are the areas where Republicans have effectively branded and stereotyped Democrats as judgmental and out of touch on the issues. And these are the same areas where Democrats do not have many strong local candidates to break that stereotype. Now, let's go back to last year when Madison Page said the state party bosses ignored her proposal to focus on local issues. Remember who was running the state Democratic Party back then?
First of all, I will say I'm not an issues person, so issues are just not something that I get really involved in.
Yeah, the state hired Sally Boynton Brown from Idaho.
And I am from Idaho. We are so white. So white, right?
Who had already drawn national controversy for her prior remarks.
I'm a white woman. I don't get it.
When she claimed that her job was to school white people.
So that I can go school the other white people.
And shut down white people.
And my job is to shut other white people down when they want to interrupt.
Because she says white people are prejudiced.
My job is to shut other white people down when they want to say, oh no, I'm not prejudiced.
If you want to make inroads in rural and white working class areas, let's just say that won't help. And then, as president of the Florida Democrats, she said she was not into issues.
This is not going to be popular, but this is my belief of the time and place that we're in now. I believe that we're in a place where it is very hard to get voters excited about issues. I believe that people are emotionally reacting to the emotion. As Democrats, I think we continue to try to connect with voters' heads around issues and facts and truth when we are now in an era of emotional politics.
Well, she didn't last very long, and neither did the state party chairman, Stephen Battelle. His conduct was his undoing. And while the party's leadership changed in 2018, remember that plans and strategies are set well in advance of elections. And once again, Democrats got burned by much more than a goofy ballot and an FBI probe. Because once again, they forgot Democratic icon Tip O'Neill's golden rule of politics, that all politics is local.